So first question, just Syracuse on Tuesday night, your initial thoughts on them going into that matchup?
Well, we just run a long road trip for 5 or 6 days to the West Coast, so it's nice to be back home. Syracuse, it's a senior night for us. We have, I believe, 6 seniors on our team. So it should be a fun evening. And Syracuse is a very explosive offensive team. They have some very good players, and a couple of guys are very experienced. So they've been in a lot of close games this year, and just played an overtime game with Virginia Tech. So us coming off a loss, we need to refocus and try to figure out how to win a game here.
Noah Fleischman.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned senior night. There's not too many seniors around, the ACC in the country that have stuck at one place for their whole 4 or 5 year career. What does that just say about kind of the state of college basketball and where things are?
Certainly has changed. When you can transfer every year without sitting out, there's really no thought process. If you want to transfer, you just do it. And then secondly, the NIL is since the NIL has increased over the last couple of years, and you have the transfer portal combined where you don't have to sit out a year, it makes changing schools easy. And also there's not as much, it's hard for a school or basketball program to kind of count on your roster for the next year or two, because it seems now you just have to rebuild your roster every season. And you hope you have guys stay, but sometimes that's out of your control as a coaching staff or as a program. But we have some guys that are juniors and sophomores, and we would certainly like them to stay. But once again, we don't know. So I think you just build your roster every year, and then after the season, you try to figure out who's staying and leaving.
Kip Coons.
Good morning, Andy. Your team is in position where you could end up with the double bye in the ACC tournament. How have your players said anything about recognizing what they can accomplish this week, and how important would it be to your team to have the double bye in next week?
Well, I think it's very important to we're tied for 4th right now in the league, and we were in 4th place all by ourselves until Saturday. We've been without our point guard and leading scorer and assist guy, Boopie Miller, for the last 5 games. I think that's really hurt us from a offensive and defense perspective. And I think it showed up in crucial times in some of the games that we've lost. He should be back this week. It's very important for him to get back and be healthy and get back to playing basketball like we were when we were 19-5 and had just won 5 in a row before his injury. So I think there's a lot to play for this week. If we can win tomorrow night, and then we'll have a big road game at Florida State. So we're going to take it game by game, but certainly our players' goal is to come in 4th and get the double bye. We know, especially with some of the injuries we've had, the less games you have to play in the tournament, probably the better.
David Teal.
Andy, when you have someone like Miller coming back from pretty prolonged absence, how long does it usually, in your experience, take somebody to get back into game condition?
Well, I think it changes. He's not an overly big guy. He's the shortest guy on our team, and so it's not like I probably, in my experience over the last couple decades, bigger guys usually take a little longer. But Boopie has been doing a little exercising with non-weight bearing, and so I think he's going to be fine. Now his timing and his shooting off the move, or when he gets a little winded, it may take a game or two. But we're hoping he can play well Tuesday night. If it's going to be kind of day to day right now, we're hoping he plays tomorrow night, and certainly would hope he plays by Saturday. So I think this week is big for our team and for him to try to get back to where we were.
What have you missed most from him during his absence?
Well, defensively, he was playing at a whole nother level. He's being very disruptive. He had been playing the best defense of his career. And then offensively, he was playing like a true point guard. He had 9 assists, 10 assists. Our team was really being efficient on the offensive end and playing at a pace where he helps sets the pace with his speed and his quickness. So we don't have anybody else on our team that can get downhill like him off ball screens or in transition. He just puts pressure on the defense because of his speed and his change of speeds. And then his passing ability, he was averaging, almost a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio and passing the ball at a very, very high level and setting his teammates up. And so I think probably our big guys have missed that a little bit. And also guys like BJ and Chuck, where he would kick it out to them on the perimeter. So I think even though we have other good players, when you take the lead guy out, it certainly adjusts of how you can play or would like to play.
Back to Kip Coons for the final question.
Yeah, Andy, with the NCAA tournament coming up, how would you hope the tournament committee judges your team with and without Boopy?
Well, I think our net is certainly high enough to make the NCAA tournament. If you watch this play, I personally believe I've coached a lot of NCAA tournament teams. This team here at SMU is as good as many of my NCAA tournament teams, or I should say our NCAA as a coaching staff at USC, or this team has the potential to win games in the NCAA tournament. We certainly have the balance on offense and the size and can play defensively really improved. And so I think this team has improved from the beginning of the season dramatically. And then all of a sudden you're 19-5 and you have an injury to your leader, the guy leads you in points and assists, and have to make some adjustments over the last 2.5, 3 weeks. So, yeah, we have a lot of basketball to play. We have this week and then the ACC tournament. So I'm not going to sit here and say, well, we deserve to be in or don't deserve to be in. I think there's too much basketball to be played to do that. I do think that teams improve in the ACC. We have improved a lot. We had Matt Cross out for the first couple of weeks this season. Smet wasn't even eligible to play for the first couple games, and then we had to play some games early where we weren't very good, or we just weren't clicking on all cylinders, and we had a lot of improvement to do. And then so we're, as a coaching staff, we're very proud of this team. This team has improved dramatically defensively from the preseason and from the first month of the season. We're much better now, and we're also better offensively. We're 6 guys averaging double figures. And so I think that's the goal of basketball teams in general, to improve as the season goes on. And sometimes I think the selection committee doesn't value that, doesn't value I think sometimes things get lost about conference play. Even though the ACC had a tough ACC-SEC challenge, we weren't even in that. We played LSU the next week and beat them by 10 on a neutral court. But winning on the road is difficult. You look at some of these so-called NCAA tournament teams that had a couple wins early, and they go on the road in their league and they're losing by 15, 18 points to teams in the bottom of their conference. And we're sitting at 7-2 on the road in our league, and it's hard to win games on the road in your conference, as many teams across the country are proving that this year as well as the last few years. So as far as how they see us, I think there's a lot of basketball to be played now that hopefully we have Boopy back, and people can see our whole team the way it was when we were 19-5 3 weeks ago.
Andy, thank you for the time today. We appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.